Charles, did you slide by and grab your packet?
I already got it.
You got it?
Do I need to read it? I already read some of it. It's interesting.
Isn't it?
How, like, things like privilege is now right. And
Yeah. Semantics, right?
I feel like there's probably a reason why.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know why. But
It may have been just legal.
obviously, okay. I was thinking, did something happen that's just near it?
Are you introducing employee of the month?
I know.
Okay, you want these, or you want me to?
You can
them in there?
Sue is the one that hands them to you. I'm not really, the site administrators are. What did you guys ever decide with Tina? What did you guys decide with Tina?
Oh, no. Tito's willing. We went with him on. I just kind of gave him some space because of what recently happened with his
Brother? Dad?
it was either his brother or his dad. So just give him some space, but
Yeah, he was here today. He just had dropped in. Whatever.
if he's in a good place now, I'm ready.
Yeah, I think he is. So
It
yeah.
was just give him some space. That's all.
Okay.
Because he even told me like he wasn't ready to start like in December right away because he was trying to figure it out.
Got it.
You know.
Okay. They hope they're excited to hear from you.
I definitely need your help.
Yeah. That's an understatement, huh? Shoshana, did the Chambers send certificate? So this is just us. Okay. Yeah, right? So I really shouldn't include them today. And it trailed this way quickly. Yeah. Hey, Kenan. Yeah, they're on my desk. I just need to pull them out and give them to you. How about I do that today after this? I need to line some stuff out on there because some of the stuff that they need to use, I just didn't use.
Oh, okay. Can you return?
It was like mirror and stuff like that.
Okay. Have it open it? If you don't have open,
Yeah, we used it for Christmas.
oh, good,
Yeah.
good. I'm glad you can use it.
We may get used to it.
Oh, okay.
Seems like it's been forever.
one that looks like that. So.
Portrait on the chair that the kids drew of you. Stop yawning.
Okay, here we go. We'll reconvene the Board of Education open session this evening at 7:04, and Monrovia High School is here to give us a Pledge of Allegiance, and we have Principal Kirk McGinnis.
Thank you. Good evening, President Hammond, members of the board, Dr. Trosian, cabinet, community members. It is my honor and privilege this evening to introduce 4 outstanding student members at Monrovia High School. They're going to do a few things tonight. One, they're going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. They'll be talking about their championship run at the hackathon event, most recently in Pasadena, and then they're going to be sharing some information about the Digital Studies Academy. So I'd like to introduce Ethan. Come on up to begin our evening. Ethan.
Hi, I'm Ethan, and I'll be leading you in the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Logan Abetta. This is Nick Kang, Jonah and Ethan Simmons, and Mr. Carlson, and we were the winning team at the RMDS Hackathon. So a little bit about us is we're all seniors at Monrovia High School, and we're all members of robotics and AP Computer Science, and we all want to go into computer science as a major. So this was really important to us. So a little bit about the hackathon is hackathons have a kind of a negative connotation, a lot of misconceptions about what they are. People think of people with black hoodies sitting in front of a computer just typing away. But it's really not like that, and it's not about programming that much. It's really about a think tank and having a presentation to solve an idea and kind of hack away at a problem and getting somewhere to change what the problems are in the world and finding better solutions. So Nick will expand a little bit about how our hackathon was.
Hello, I'm Nick. Hackathons come in many different forms. Ours happened to be about fuel efficiency, which is an increasing problem in our world. And to solve this problem, we created a prediction algorithm which would help predict a fuel efficiency based on different factors, such as the cylinder count in your car, the distance you might be going, or the acceleration of your car, and different factors such as that. And now Jonah will talk about the DSA.
So we're part of a very active computer science community at Monrovia High School. And we have an academy there called the DSA, or the Digital Studies Academy, which encompasses digital arts such as video game design, programming, and other graphical design, stuff like that. And it's a great opportunity to be in those classes and find our passions in all these different fields. And the hackathon was an amazing opportunity because we actually had the opportunity to put those skills that we learned to the test against other very, very trained or very knowledgeable individuals. And we had a great opportunity with that. And we just actually recently, Mr. Carlson recently hooked us up with another game jam, which is a similar thing, but for video game, similar thing to hackathons, but with video games. And we'll be going to that in a couple weeks. Thank you.
Board, thank you for having us. I don't believe I need to say much. I think the talent at Monrovia High School really speaks for itself. We have some amazing minds we're at, and I'm just grateful every day to be able to work with them. So, but thank you for having us again tonight.
So, gentlemen, the board would like to have you join them at the front with for a photo and a certificate. Ethan? And Jonah? Logan? And Nicholas. Our very first hackathon championship team. One more round of applause.
Our meeting this evening is going to be in honor of a couple of brand new members of the Monrovia Unified School District. First, we'd like to welcome Hope Daniela Serrano, who is a granddaughter of District Custodian Danny Robinson, to the MUSD family. Hope was born on December the 16th and came in at 9 pounds, 2 ounces. Now, these two guys are my grandkids. They came in on December the 21st, weighing in at 5.01. The little guy in the green is Robert. The guy in the black and red checkered is Thomas, and he came in at 5.05, and we welcome them. Thank you. It was a big Christmas at my house this year. We have our roll call. We're all here. Ms. Travanti is excused. We had closed session. We took no reportable action. Up first is our order of business. May I please entertain a motion for those minutes, please?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Have a vote, please.
Board Member Gilliland?
Yes.
Board Member Lockerbie?
Yes.
Board Member Wong?
Yes.
Board President Hammond?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Entertain a motion for the annual organization meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? May you please have a vote?
Board Member Lockerbie?
Yes.
Board Member Wong?
Yes.
Board Member Gilliland?
Yes.
Board President Hammond?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Next up is the approval of minutes for a regular Board of Education open session for the Finance Corporation. Entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
Motion second, discussion. May we please have a vote?
Board Member Wong?
Yes.
Board Member Gilliland?
Yes.
Board Member Lockerbie?
Yes.
Board President Hammond?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Is there any change in business that we need to look at before we go on?
Yes, President Hammond, item 13 from the consent calendar, which is about the CLC playground renovation, will be moved to action, as will consent item 16 from technology services, will also about student information will be moved to action.
Okay, so we'll take that following Ed Services 1. We'll go on to Mr. McFadden at 13, followed by Charles at 16. Okay.
Correct.
Any other changes? Thank you. At this time, we have some very important people that we would like to recognize for a lot of the great work that they've done this year and in all the past years we've done. This evening, we have with us Project Pass, the tutors, and I see Duke Frierson out there. If you could, who is going to be presenting?
Well, as I invite Mr. Fairmouth up, here he is, right in the front, to talk a little bit about the program, I would like to just thank him for his service and for creating such a robust partnership with our area community colleges and colleges, providing our students with tutors throughout the year. And again, this is something that is really unique to Monrovia. I'd also like to take a moment to thank Monrovia Reads for their constant support of this program. This is really a nice partnership, and Duke serves to spearhead it and is its architect. So Duke.
Mr. Farmouth, how many years have you been doing this?
Well, the tutoring part has been, the proactive tutoring part has been 18 years. But I've been actually in the Monrovia School District for 52 years. I came as a counselor at the high school 52 years ago.
Thanks so much, Duke. Appreciate that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you very much. And I just wanted to, again, thank the board, thank Dr. Therosian, our district board, all the officers of the district office, all the people in the district office who have been wonderful and very supportive of us, as well as Monrovia Reads, who is our founding organization, and they've just been wonderful. But especially tonight, we want us to thank the families of the tutors. We had some 84 tutors this year. This counts our college kids. That's from Citrus, PCC, Cal Poly. And also all our volunteers. These are honor kids from the high school that come down all and help us. And as I said before, as I said, 52 years ago I started here as a counselor, and then 33 years ago we sat down and said, and when I retired, they said, what is our greatest need? And I said, it's for free tutoring that we can really use and help kids. And so Joanne Spring from Monrovia Reads and Joel Shawn from the district office and myself sat down and we developed this proactive tutoring program. And like I said, over the years, the statistics have been amazing. In the 18 years, we figure we've had over 800 tutors. And they have given us over 25,000 tutorial hours. This is individual work with kids, you know. So, it staggers me when I did these statistics. I said, wow. We also have received 2 Golden Bell Awards and 2 awards. But tonight, we're really here for the kids, for the students. And I'm just going to really and truly, this has been one of the best groups we've ever had. The tutors this year, they come after a hard day at school, they come to the library, they come to the schools, they come to the wellness center, and they are there for the kids, and the kids love them. They come in, they give them hugs. It's amazing. It's really a beautiful situation. Albert Einstein, I think it was, that gave a great quote. He said, he summed it all up, and he said, to find oneself, you have to lose oneself in the service of others. And I think that's the motto of our kids. You know, they have been absolutely fantastic. Our motto has always been, love is service made visible. Service. Yeah, love is service made visible. Service is love made visible. And it's really, that's the motto of these kids. When I ask them, why do you do this? You know, why do you do this? Why do you, and they say, almost to a person, their number one reason is to help another human being. So I think that speaks for itself. But I'm just going to finish this real quickly by telling you, don't just listen to my words. Here's the words of one of the kids who've been tutored. He's an 8th grader from Santa Fe. He started the year with a 0.85 grade point average. That is less than a D. And we got him a citrus tutor. She worked with him all year. At the end of the time, his last report card, he had a 3.0. And he wrote a little note to his tutor, and I think this sums it all up. And this is the final, before I call the names. He said, I thank you for being there for me. I thank you for giving me self-confidence. I thank you for helping me. I thank you for caring about me. I thank you for making my life better. I thank you for teaching me to do the right thing. I thank you for not giving up on me. I thank you for being my tutor. And to me, that was just absolutely beautiful. I mean, I went, oh my gosh, I almost had a tear in my eye when I read that. But and this is the kind of thing, though, that's happening. And these tutors, the ones that are here tonight, are representing us. We have a lot. We have more tutors than that were here tonight. But the ones tonight are representing us. And what I'm going to do is call off the names real quickly. They can come up, shake hands with the board. They will be getting a certificate of community service and a letter stating their hours of community service. The certificate is like this, and we'll be giving them out afterwards real quick. So the certificate says, for your role in the success of Project PASS through the empowerment of the Monrovia School District students towards academic success. And each one and it's signed by our superintendent, our president of the board, Mr. Hammond, and myself. And again, the most important thing that we're here tonight, and I didn't emphasize this enough, is family. Thank you, family, for being here. You are the support. You are the ones that allow these kids to work and to do their thing. The old saying is, an apple doesn't fall far from the tree, right? And I'm telling you, these tutors are products of the best families. You can see these people today. They fill it with love, and this is what they give to these kids, and it shows, and it's reflected. And if we had a world with this kind of love going on, we'd be in great shape. Anyway, I'm sorry to kind of go on and on, but I'm going to call these names real quick. I'm going to call a lot more names than we have people here, but I wanted to touch on everybody's names. Many of them told me that they couldn't make it, and I said, that's fine. We won't have any problem with that. Okay, so name-wise, here we go. I will call your name, and when I do call your name, and if anybody by any chance is inadvertently left off the list, please let me know. But, okay. Okay. Acio Elazar, Kaylee Aguilar, Gabriela Altamirano, Gabriel Barrios, Earl Baptiste, Julie Baptista, Natoli Beltran, Stacy Bunn, yay! Stacy Bunn, Yuka Bunn, Julian Carrillo, I know Julian is here, Sarah Campos, Valerie Cesaris, Brian Chevarria, Erica Chavez, Summer Civitate, Aaron Comilla, Daniel Cruz, Elvis Cruz, Jose Cruz, and Denise Cruz, Jacob Cup, Isabella Elzaldi, Alexis Espinoza, Christian Figueroa, Crystal Flores, Kathy Fong, Alexandra Frere, Suvani Galicia, I saw Suvani coming in, Angelina Garcia, Celeste Garcia, Allison G., Rosemarie Gonzalez, Fatima Gutierrez, Peter Gutierrez, Robert Gonzalez, Lacey Hansen, Caitlin Jackson, Alex Joe Escon. Alex and his sister Leslie are here. Leslie Escon. They've been great. Alex has been with me for, 4 or 5 years. He's now in college. Ethan Quo. Susan Levine. Susan's an interesting case. She's a retired teacher who came back and said, I want to do some volunteer tutoring, and she has. She has her own tutoring program, but she comes and volunteers on Mondays and Tuesdays at the Monrovia Public Library for us. She's one of our 2 adult volunteers. It's amazing. Rachel Lee, Karina Lazama, Maria Lazama, Veronica Lazama. We got the 3 sisters. Kristen Liu, Mariah Marcus, Lamia McLean, Jasmine Mendez, Lydia Reyes, Alfredo Morales, Naomi Marino, Rose Mary Nahara. We're almost done, guys. Ann Wynn and Kevin Wynn. Kevin's not here. Kevin's one of our college kids from PCC. Chris Ornelas, Andrew Ortega, Yuri Posadas, Denise Luiz, Jira Positos, Jeanette Ramos Vega, Vanessa Rivas, Diego Rodriguez, and Mia Rodriguez. I know they're here. Here's Diego and Mia Rodriguez. Azul Ruiz, Diane Ocho Ruiz, Jeanette Vega, okay, Hector Ruiz, Stephen Ruiz, Naomi Ruiz, Jesus Salcedo, Sal Sanchez, Tyler Spicer, Ava Schechtman, Ethan Tandia, Amber Torin, Caitlin Tran, Catherine Valverde, Gustavo Venturi, Sabrina Villagrana, Anne Elizabeth Villamia, Emma Weisskopf, Christy Zhu, Helen Savalia, Mark Zhang, Jean Carlos Zuleta. And if there's anybody else who by any chance we left inadvertently off this list, because we did these from sign-ins and from my memory and so on. So if there's anybody that we missed, please come up now, shake the board's hands. I can't, oh, did we miss you? Oh my gosh, one of my best. Absolutely. Yeah. I told you, you know, I probably mispronounced your name more than I missed you, you know. But again, it was a labor of love, and these kids are absolutely phenomenal. This was the best year that we've had in a long time. So, and thank the board again. The board has been wonderful in their support, and Dr. Therosian and Sue Kaiser and all the McConaughey, all the people that have been here. They've always supported us, and we really appreciate it. Thank you. Pardon me? What's his name, Maximus?
Maximus Cortez.
Oh, Maximus Cortez. Yes, of course. Oh my gosh, I got to look and see if I missed that. I can't believe that I missed Maximus because, like I said, he's always there, and he's one of our best, absolute best tutors. The little ones love him. If you guys want to go out now, I'll give you your certificates outside, and then we won't be blocking up the room anymore. Thank you again. Thank you, board. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Duke.
There it goes.
We're just going to wait a second for folks to clear.
While we're waiting, I just wanted to mention if anyone gets a fist bump from me instead of a handshake, it's because a little under the weather, and
That's why you're sitting that far away from me.
So I'm over here, and so
Yeah. Charles got the short stick tonight. Who gets to sit next to the sick lady?
Hey. Okay. So thank you very much for understanding fist bump.
Okay. Up next, we're going to be introduced to some very outstanding people who work for our district, and Dr. Jackson will make those introductions.
Yes, indeed. Board President Hammond, members of the board, Dr. Terosian, Cabinet, members of the community. Speaking of our very best, this evening we're honored to recognize and celebrate our exceptional classified and certificated employees of the month from Mayflower and Plymouth elementary schools for their commitment to our community, the district, and most importantly, to our students. In recognition of their service, they will receive tokens of appreciation from the Board of Education, Chamber of Commerce, Foothill Federal Credit Union, as well as their sites. So with no further ado, I'd like to invite Mrs. Michelle Costarella, Principal, Mayflower Elementary School.
Good evening, Board President Hammond and members of the board, and good evening, Dr. Terosian. I am honored to be here tonight to present to you two very outstanding employees from Mayflower School. And before I get started, I'd like to call up Mr. Ricardo Chavez. Ricardo is our first outstanding employee tonight that I want to talk about. Ricardo is an outstanding employee for so many reasons. He serves as our evening custodian and has worked at Mayflower for about 3 years. Prior to that, Ricardo served as the substitute custodian across the district. He is an absolute joy to work with, and I've enjoyed getting to know him. We often have time to chat in the evening when he is coming through, spiffing up the office, and I am wrapping things up. Ricardo is always cheerful and always friendly. He is the utmost professional. He is courteous, and he has impeccable work ethic. As custodian at Mayflower, Ricardo is diligent in all that he does. Our staff and students love Ricardo because he is such a great guy, and he is always willing to help out and go the extra mile. Ricardo was nominated for this award by his peers, and tonight I wanted to just share some specific comments that the people that he works with had to say about him. Ricardo is outstanding because he does his job with a super positive attitude. Ricardo has gone above and beyond, helping me move classrooms twice. He helped me so much with boxes, tables, and all of my stuff. He so deserves this recognition. Ricardo always helps, and he helps right away as soon as you ask. He fixes things on the spot, and Ricardo is a great guy and an unsung hero on our campus who always has a smile on his face and does his job well. I can share with you that Ricardo does always respond to requests right away, and he does always cheerfully do his work, and he works hard every day to get his routine work done and never hesitates when tasks are presented to him or additional requests are made of him. Somehow he manages to get it all done and do it with a smile. He gladly supports others, and as you can tell, he is beloved by our Mayflower community for being a great guy and doing outstanding work. So congratulations, Ricardo, on being our classified employee of the month.
Thank you.
To the front and take a picture. Okay. Come on back. Okay. Sorry.
Don't go far.
Don't go far. Okay. Now I would like to call up our second outstanding employee, Mr. Andy Hernandez. Andy is an outstanding employee and so deserving of this award. As a fourth-year, fifth-grade teacher at Mayflower, he has proven to be an exemplary teacher who works hard to meet the needs of all of his students. He also contributes to Mayflower in amazing ways. He is a dedicated team player and brings joy to our campus every day. Our students love Mr. Hernandez because he is cool and kind. Along with daily core instruction, Mr. Hernandez provides science and coding instruction to all of our fifth grade students, and he makes learning fun and relevant and takes it to the next level. Currently, he houses a green screen, a 3D printer, and a self-made indoor hydroponics garden in his classroom. If you were to walk into his room, it would not be uncommon to find Mr. Hernandez dressed in a white lab coat, leading an exciting or interesting science experiment. These are just some of the fun ways that he engages students in hands-on science and technology learning. But beyond the classroom, Mr. Hernandez graciously volunteers much of his time to supporting students and programs on our campus. In the past, he has led our Peace Patrol program, and this year, he serves as a student council coordinator, guiding students in 4th and 5th grade, building their capacity as leaders, and directing their service, which fosters our positive school culture and community. For the past 2 years, Mr. Hernandez has spent hours of his own time creating the most amazing float entry for our school in the Holiday and Monrovia Days Parade. If you saw our entry, then you know that the lit up Minecraft Christmas tree that was synced to music is quite amazing. It also earned us a first place award last spring. Andy diligently serves on our PBIS team, represents Mayflower on the District Curriculum Advisory Committee, and he coordinates and organizes our student talent show each year. He is a certified outdoor educator and recently submitted a proposal to me for an after-school archery enrichment program. He is musically talented, and he makes the best tamales around. But the thing is, Andy likes doing all of these things. He enjoys being involved and serving others and giving back from his heart. And that is why Andy is so deserving of this Outstanding Employee Award. Thank you.
As you're making your way back to your seat, I'd like to invite our principal from Plymouth Elementary School, Dr. Greg Gyro, to the podium.
Thank you. Good evening, Board President Hammond, members of the board, Dr. Terosian, cabinet, and members of the community. I think I have to mention before I brag about our amazing Plymouth staff that my daughter, who was a Mayflower Mariner, her two favorite teachers were Mr. Hernandez and Mrs. Hernandez. And she refused to choose one over the other, by the way. So it's my great pleasure to introduce Plymouth's Classified Employee of the Month honoree, Miss Sabrina Madrid. Sabrina's here with her daughter, Mia, who she has said has been her inspiration. And she's here with her mom, Cynthia, and her sister, Sydney, as well. Sabrina joined our district 7 years ago when she was hired as a kinder aide at Monroe, and Plymouth had the good fortune to lure her as a TK aide the following year, and she has been an amazing part of the Plymouth team ever since. Sabrina has played an integral role in our TK program, working closely with our outstanding teacher, Miss Shannon Varner, former Monrovia Teacher of the Year. Many in the audience may not fully appreciate the challenges of the TK classroom. Imagine the needs of a 4 or 5-year-old child, the curiosity, the confusion, the defiance, frequent trips to the bathroom, wardrobe malfunctions, constant runny noses, demands for nap times, tantrums, and much, much more. Now imagine 25 of them in the classroom and a team of just 2 adults, in this case, Ms. Varner and Ms. Sabrina, directing the entire class like a complexly choreographed Broadway show. And Sabrina is masterful in her ability to connect with these very young children, somehow embodying both the kind and caring adult and the firm, strong leader. And perhaps the truest testament to Sabrina's expertise is when we have had a substitute teacher in that TK class, and I walk over to check on the classroom, and in my mind, I'm picturing the students have declared mutiny, tied up the teacher, taken leadership of the class, but instead I see the sub standing quietly to the side and observing the master, Miss Sabrina, as she conducts the entire class until the sub feels ready to step in. And this has happened not just once or twice, but on many occasions. Sabrina is one of those who knew at an early age that her purpose in life was in the field of education, and she didn't waste any time. She was in 10th grade, just 15 years old, when she started working at an after-school program. She would attend school all day and then work with the children after school. She has a degree in child development and will finish her bachelor's in teaching credential this semester, I believe. Right? Yes. Her impact on Plymouth has been captured by the words of our staff. I asked them to speak on behalf of her, and I'll read a few of the things that they said. Sabrina is known for her dedication and hard work at school. She's dependable, adaptable, and can jump in or take over on the spot. She's a wonderful support, provides a caring structure in the class, and she is loved by the students. As parents, it gives us great comfort and happiness to hear our child share positive classroom stories about Miss Sabrina. She was great when she first arrived, but I've witnessed her grow and refine her practices even further. She demonstrates a heart and mind for working with children. I asked Sabrina what she enjoys about her work, and she said she loves seeing the aha moment in children and the joy they're filled with. I have those moments every day, she said, and she added, we take education for granted because we never stop learning, and I want to provide that for others. Tonight's celebration of Sabrina has an ounce of bittersweetness, for we know that soon she will be embarking on her teaching career, where she will continue to touch the lives of so many more children and families. But Sabrina, we are grateful for the profound impact you have had here at Plymouth, and we're glad that we had the opportunity to recognize your exceptional contribution to our school. It's truly an honor to announce Ms. Sabrina Madrid as Plymouth's Classified Employee of the Month. It's my great pleasure to announce Plymouth's Certificated Employee of the Month, Mrs. Dana Williams. Dana is here with her husband, Jason, a computer analyst at City of Hope, and her son, Evan, a fifth grade student in Temple City. Some years ago, not that many years, a first grade girl in Chicago wrote on a paper, I want to be a teacher when I grow up. She had been asked by her teacher to think about her future, something most 6 or 7-year-olds ordinarily do not have much of a grasp of, but something inside this girl, something perhaps in her core, knew what she was meant to do. That first grader, of course, was Dana Williams, and we have had the amazing fortune to bring her to Plymouth, where she has had a profound impact on our school in such a short amount of time. And Mrs. Williams was not new to teaching when we hired her. In fact, she had already had a distinguished career in Georgia, where she taught TK through 2nd grade for 9 years. Dana's teaching was and is exceptional, and the district in Georgia selected her classroom as a model for the entire district. She also taught a mathematics lab class where 8 to 10 teachers would observe and then debrief with her about what they learned. And it was our luck that there was a job opportunity here in Southern California for her husband that brought Dana and her family to California in 2016. She began teaching at an unnamed dual immersion school in Pasadena. The fact that they did not realize what an absolute gem they had was to our benefit, and she was at the top of over 150 applicants for the position. I was thrilled when she accepted the position at our school. She is a magician in the classroom. Everything she does in the classroom is intentional, graceful, and effective. She has already established a reputation in our district as a master at running small group instruction with students highly engaged in purposeful learning without needing reminders from the teacher. Dana is the first to point out that this doesn't happen by accident, that it took weeks to build the systems, the procedures, the habits, the culture in the classroom to make it work so majestically. And by the way, it's important to note that Dana Williams is the English teacher in the Mandarin DI program, which means that she has only 50% of the day to teach all of the standards. And she has half the time to establish the classroom routines and procedures that most teachers do. Oh, and she teaches 2 grade levels, 2nd and 3rd, which means 2 different sets of standards, 2 different curricula, and of course in half the time. That would be enough to tire out even the most energetic, enthusiastic among us, but Dana does more. She volunteers as a member of our dual immersion committee and our instructional leadership team. She serves as the teacher liaison at our PTA board meetings in the evenings, and she serves as a bits of support teacher for one of our new teachers. Just as remarkable as Dana's teaching is the positive, optimistic mindset that she carries with her every day, illustrated by the genuine, youthful smile that you'll witness anytime you see her. I'm convinced that this has been a key to her building trust and rapport with her students, with families, with her colleagues in such a short amount of time. I asked our teachers, what are some things that make Dana so special? Here's some of the things that they said. Dana is an amazing teacher, colleague, and friend. I really admire how knowledgeable, creative, and adaptable she is in the classroom. She is always ready to help and lend a hand, even if it means staying late after hours to help out. She's a friend to everyone. She always has a friendly hello and smile to everyone that passes her. As a colleague, she's always helpful and willing to share ideas. She truly has a love and passion for teaching, and it shows. When I asked Dana what she likes about Plymouth, she said, it feels like I've been here for a long time. It's only been a year and a half, right? Or, no, more. It feels like it's a good fit. It feels like home. And the feeling is mutual. Dana's not just a perfect fit for our school, but a positive influence on our culture. She's a quiet leader and an impetus for change. Dana's fulfilling her childhood dream and destiny. She's an amazing teacher, one of the best that I've had the pleasure to work with. But what I doubt that first grade girl in Chicago would know is that she would have such a profound impact, not only on the hundreds of children that would be blessed to have her as a teacher, but the dozens and dozens of teachers, colleagues, and administrators that would learn from her and be inspired by her to become better educators themselves. Dana, you inspire me, and I can't imagine a more deserving teacher for this honor. Congratulations. Well, congratulations to our honorees, well deserved. Up next, we have our student board member report, and Dr. Tarosian, will you please make the introduction, please?
We have our student board member from Monrovia High School, our student board member's designee from Monrovia High School, who will be presenting her report. Give us a little bit about yourself first so you can introduce yourself to us.
Hi, my name is Giselle Flores. I am the ASB Vice President at Monrovia High School. I'm very involved at the high school. I'm cheer captain. I'm a part of Link Crew, and I just love giving back to my community and my school as well.
Thank you for coming this evening and presenting the report. I am going to ask, can you lower that mic just a little bit? Yeah, you're not as tall perhaps as Duke, but you thinking to have a powerful voice.
Okay, so coming to Monrovia High School this month is on Wednesday, January 15th, Jocelyn's will be visiting the seniors For the first Senior Information Assembly of the year, cap and gown information will be distributed and orders will begin to be taken the following week. Also, on January 15th, Monrovia High School will be hosting our annual open house and 8th grade parent night. The event begins at 6 p.m. with a welcome and presentation from Mr. McGinnis and in the auditorium, and will then be followed by a club and activity showcase in the event center. On Friday, January 17th, MHS welcomes Chloe Howard to campus to share her inspirational story and message of hope in opposition to the culture of bullying in today's society. Ms. Howard created the Stand Beautiful organization and has spoken all over the world. We are looking forward to hearing her story and putting her message into practice. All of our winter sports teams begin competition in the Rio Hondo League this week. And that's all for the month of January.
Thank you, Giselle. Very nicely done.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Up next, we have the Superintendent Report.
I simply wanted to welcome everybody back to the second semester and to the new decade, 2020. Our schools are back in session and everybody is off to a great start.
Thank you. Now we have public comments. The Board of Education encourages public participation and invites you to share your views with the school board. If you any items that would like to be addressed that are not on the agenda, simply fill out a form and you shall be heard. Do we have any speakers? Anyone wishing to speak to the board on any item that is not on the agenda? Seeing and hearing none, we'll close that portion and open up the comments for items on the agenda. If you'd like to be heard, simply fill out a form and you shall be heard. Do we have any speakers? Anyone wishing to speak to the board on any item that is on the agenda? Seeing and hearing none, we'll close the public comment period. Take up the matter of consent. Except for the two items that we have moved, is there any other changes to consent? Dr. Tarosian?
No.
No, okay. Entertain a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Is there any discussion? Maybe you please have a vote.
Board Member Gilliland?
Yes.
Board Member Lockerbie?
Yes.
Board Member Wong?
Yes.
Board President Hammond?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Take up the matter of Ed Services, and Dr. Kaiser, will you please give the staff report?
Certainly. Thank you, Board President Hammond, Board Dr. Trosian. We are seeking the board's approval on the purchase of the Spider Lab equipment for the Career Technical Education Pathway and a student-run business for Monrovia High School. This evening we heard presentations by the students that are in the technology pathway, and this is a lab that will be installed at the high school, whereby students will be learning how to utilize very technical equipment, and it will lead to certain jobs and job training. As a part of the Career Technical Education Program, and in keeping with our LCAP Goal 1.6, this increases access to higher level courses to increase the number of students who successfully enter and complete high school, both college and career ready, and increase college and career readiness indicators for all students. This equipment is being purchased and presented for approval. So it will allow our students to gain experience in industry-grade technology to produce professional-level products, including but not limited to vinyl auto wraps, banners, large print posters and signs, stickers, graphics, custom glass window graphics, the things that are purchased from a print shop. And so our students would be trained on this equipment and then be able to sell this equipment internally and make it a self-sustaining project for the high school.
Any questions of Dr. Kaiser? Entertain a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Is there any discussion? Maybe please have a vote.
Board Member Lockerbie?
Yes.
Board Member Wong?
Yes.
Board Member Gilliland?
Yes.
Board President Hammond?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Up next, it's the Kenan Early Learning Center Playground Renovation Project, and Mr. McFadden is here to give the staff report.
Thank you, Board President Hammond, members of the board, Dr. Tarosian, and members of the cabinet. Just first of all, personal thank you to Mr. Hammond for building the CELC pipeline with those two beautiful little babies that we have coming to us in 3 years or 4 years or so. We actually had 2 employees over the holidays too that also are building the pipeline. So we appreciate that. Really excited to be able to bring this proposal forward to the board for your consideration. At CELC in the last year and a half that I've been there, I've learned a couple of things. One is which we need to play while we're learning and learn while we're playing. And the space that we're in right now is becoming smaller because our attendance is growing. Last year, we're licensed for 190 students through our preschool program for the state's preschool program. Last year, we had 155. Right now, we're at 187 students. So we're close to that max, but we have capacity to take about 225 students. So we're growing in the right direction, but we still have some room to improve. We believe that diverse and engaging learning environments create a preschool experience that is both memorable and leads to a successful transition into the elementary schools and the programs that we're so proud of here in Monrovia Unified. The project itself, I believe, will add to the diversity of the CELC learning environments and create many of these memorable moments over years to come. Over the past year, we've had several meetings with parents and staff, Connie and David, Fernando and Nelson, a host of playground companies, and we've landed on a renovation proposal that meets the needs of preschoolers and the community at large. We'd love to be able to move forward with the playground renovation in the CELC, what we call the South Yard, which is that picture that you're seeing in front of you. Quite simply, the project would be to remove the existing equipment and the sand, and then to lay down rubberized flooring, so then it becomes a multi-use outdoor space that we can use in a variety of ways. The outdoor space is in an amazing spot, like all the Monrovia schools are. The view is amazing, and most importantly, it fits within our budget. So the renovation should be good for both families, students, and staff. Who's advancing the slide? Is that you, Charles? You did? Okay, perfect. Thank you. So there's, again, on the left-hand side is another picture of the space that we're talking about, that playground area being removed with the sand and then the rubberized flooring laid down so that we can use that space as an outdoor classroom, motor skill development, lots of different things that we can do with that space once we're able to, renovate that area. A couple of other ideas down the road could be things such as setting up a little amphitheater that's existing there now, just a couple of renovations to that, plus utilizing the back of the wall from the warehouse is a huge wall that is blank right now that could be used for something, whether it's a legacy wall, a permanency project, something of that nature. So again, it's a fairly simple project that's cost effective and allows us to be flexible with what we're doing with students as we continue to grow. The enrollment is what we're hoping to do. So any questions that you all may have? Any questions?
First of all, I wanted to say congratulations. I know that this has been in your vision for a while, and to be able to bring this that much closer to fruition is, I'm sure it's very exciting for you. I wanted to ask why you would be removing the play structure.
That the play structure that you see right there is actually licensed for kindergartners, not preschool. So we can't use that right now. So that's outdated.
Is it possible to be moved? Is it a usable structure?
Yeah, we talked about that with the playground companies that came out, and both Fernando and Nelson brought that up to them. That was not an idea that was well received. So we did ask, but the answer was Probably not.
Is it because the technology has changed since that was put in?
That could be one. I think that's one part of it. The other part is I don't think the company that would do the installation wants to take the liability of equipment that was, I don't know when that was put in, but it was some time ago. So.
Wow.
Long ago.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, from what I understand, CLC was actually a kindergarten building at one point. So I don't know if that was in when that first happened, but yeah.
Are you going to preserve the trees?
That would be the idea. Yeah, we don't have plans to remove the trees. No, I think that we should keep those.
Thank you.
And Tom, where's the money coming from for this? Just out of your general budget, or was there fundraising included?
Yeah, so we have a few different budgets that support CELC. The one that covers the cost of the program is not being touched. This will come out of, we have some families that are tuition-based families, so that pool of money that has been raised through that would be the money that we're able to use to pay for the project. So it wouldn't affect bottom line dollars to our families. Costs would stay the same, and we just utilize that money to be able to do something for all families.
Terrific. It's a good project. We've been needing that.
Thank you.
And the request tonight is to approve just to approve the project in general, approve contracts, mostly information. What are
Ms. Wu?
Yes, Mr. Guerra, I think it's a product project in general, and I think we also get the quote. So it's the multiple phases. It's a demolition, and then the first phase, and then the future equipment. Most likely, I think Tom have a great idea. It's not interested in a fixed fixture. It's mobile, so that depend on the education setting, so that the whole entire area can be changed, be flexible.
Yeah, I think the existing quote is to be able to remove the equipment and the sand and to lay down the flooring. So that's what the quote I think that you all received was to do.
Because of the code costs a total $48,000 so per board guideline, any cost over $10,000 in the board approval.
I just had a general comment. I just want to say you're doing a great job. One of the easiest things to make a measure on is, we have a tuition and a fee-based and non-fee-based, yet our population is growing tremendously to the point in which we're getting maxed out, and now we're looking to take it to the next level. And to do that, you're making the site changes and have the vision to see what it needs to look like to succeed and to draw more people in. I just want to say you're doing a great job.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We have great people, so I'm excited. I'm excited to work with them. And those 3 and 4 year olds, you can never go wrong with 3 and 4 year olds. It'll be great to do bubbles with the board members on this new space.
Let's do that.
Any other questions or comments? We have a vote, please. I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Please have a vote.
Board Member Lockerbie?
Yes.
Board Member Wong?
Yes.
Board Member Gilliland?
Yes.
Board President Hammond?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Up next, number item 16, which is student safety audit, and Charles.
Good evening, President Hammond, board members, district staff, members of the community. This agenda item is for the approval to allow Gaggle to perform a safety audit of Google. What they will be doing is scanning the contents of what's being stored on our district Google accounts and to look for suspicious content that's being stored on our Google systems such as Google Drive and Gmail. This is a free service that they are providing us for 1 month, at which they will be providing us with a report at the end. What you see here are 2 agreements here. One is a zero-cost agreement with Gaggle to allow them to provide this service. The other is an agreement with Gaggle as well, which is a separate standard California student data privacy agreement, which states what they're going to be doing with the data, what they can and can't do to ensure that they comply with student privacy laws, that the data is still our property, and that after the service is done, that they destroy the data that they obtained from this, this scan. Any questions?
Is there a reason that staff and teachers and administrators' information is not included in this?
That's what they provide for free, kind of basically like that's the bait that they're trying to, they want to sell the service. That's why they're providing it for free. Ultimately, if we do decide to want to contract with them, they basically have a menu of services. We can just choose to do students. We can do students and staff. But the free service that they are providing us for 1 month is student only.
In the 1 month, are they guaranteeing or suggesting that they're going to be able to review all of the data by all of the students within that time frame?
Yes, they're going to basically, as soon as this agreement is signed, they're basically we're going to give them rights to access our Google accounts, and they're going to do a 45-day scan. They're going to go back about 45 days.
And what exactly is this, are we scanning for?
They're going to be scanning, for example, the Google Drive, what students are storing on Google Drive, the contents within the Google Drive documents. If there are any files being stored on Google Drives that might be of concern, maybe that could be used for hacking our system. Is there any form of maybe cyberbullying within the Google Drive, the documents within Google Drive? To the school sites that have email, they're going to be looking for within the email as well. So it's basically a student safety and security audit.
So are they actually reading all of the documents of all of the students?
I don't think they're going to be doing that. In the agreement, it says that they basically have some sort of machine learning technology. They basically, I don't know, talented programmers probably have some sort of algorithm that they're going to be searching for keywords, and then whatever they find, they're going to have humans review the findings, and then with that, they're going to provide us a report.
And the report they provide to us is what type of security do we have for those particular students? Meaning that if they find a questionable document or email chain or what have you from a particular student, do they report that as a finding with no student name attached? Do they identify the students, and then we or administrators then make an evaluation if there is anything to do with that document?
That's correct. They're going to be scanning the accounts, so they're going to basically be telling us which accounts may have something that's worth investigating, basically.
Do all of the students sign a use agreement like faculty do as to what the appropriate uses are and are not for any of the Google documents?
Yes, they do. They sign an agreement that basically says, what they're using is what is being provided by the district. It is district property. They are not guaranteed any rights to privacy with respect to electronic communication or internet records. And from time to time, district administration can review such electronic communications or internet records is basically what it says.
So we have a list of prohibited uses that the students and or parents have acknowledged and agreed to.
That's correct.
And Gaggle is going to check each of these documents in some form.
Correct.
To see whether any of those things have been breached.
Correct.
And if they are, then what's the next step?
Well, not knowing what we're going to find, depending on what we find, we're going to obviously, take it to either student services or let the principals know so that they can investigate that.
And this is for K-12?
This is for K-12, correct.
And this is everything that's been stored. So if you're in the 5th grade or 6th grade and did not delete it at the end of the year and you're now a senior, it's still going to show under their name.
It's 45 days ago, correct?
45 days. So if that document was
within the last 45 days.
Within the 45
2 weeks
days.
ago, they were on vacation. 2 weeks of the 14 days.
Okay, then perhaps we can push this out in which we're actually reviewing 45 actual school days.
We can do that too. I can ask them to do that too.
Go 45 days before Christmas break.
I'm not sure if there's a Google limitation to that, to be honest. Whether or not they can go farther than 45 days. You know, like if you say 45 days before December 15th, for example. I'm not sure if that's something that is a limit on them or if it's a Google limit, to be honest. I don't know.
Well, the contract term starts January 1st
That's correct.
and ends on the 31st.
Correct. So basically, well, that's what they're
It's gotta be
saying.
45 days back from when it starts.
Well, they will be providing the, that's when they would be doing the work, but the report is basically going back 45 days.
But it would be 45 days back from the start of the work.
Correct. So basically, if they were to start tomorrow, it would be 45 days from today back.
Right,
if we
what
could have
Brian's
them-
saying, I'm sorry, Ed.
So if we could have them skip back and make the start of the 45 days, the last day of school before winter break, then they could review the 45 days before the winter break?
Correct. I can ask them, and if they can do that, we can definitely do that.
Yeah, either the last, before Christmas break, going backwards, or go 45 days out from the first day of school.
And then start it, yeah,
And
we can do
start.
that too. If
So-
you want to
so
make it
that-
a amendment to that, definitely I'll tell them tomorrow to watch the board meeting so that they know, and then we'll
just make it part of the motion.
it will make it part of the motion, yeah.
I would hate to put that as a requirement, because I would hate to not get any free services, because I would like for you to ask them if that can be done, but as I read this agreement, it doesn't put a time limit on when the 45 days is. So it wouldn't have to be an amendment to this agreement, it would just be what we can get. them
Since
to
I
do.
think what they want us to do is buy a service from them, they'd probably be amenable to us.
That's what I
Of the
think.
45 that we're
Yeah.
asking for.
Right.
So that's what I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And can I ask the global picture of what are you looking to accomplish with this?
Well, I went to a SETPA conference last November, and one of the themes has been revolving around safety and security, student safety, network security. Just I think last week there was a security breach up in the Pittsburgh Unified School District. So right now there's been a lot of concern around that. So some companies are taking advantage and offering districts free scans because they want to sell the service. Down the line, I do plan on bringing another item allowing an organization to try to do hacking from the outside in to tell us our vulnerability. So I'm trying to take advantage of it while companies are doing this right now, and it's for knowledge. Things that if we find something, I would like to close those loopholes, and maybe we may find out we may need one of these services, and if we do, we'll have to bridge the gap and bring that back to board at a later time. We may find out that we're actually doing pretty well. So right now, this is more of an expedition to gather knowledge.
Who is Gaggle? Sounds like Google, not Google. Who is Gaggle? How familiar are you with their company? How long have they been around? How safe are they?
So Gaggle has been around for quite a while. I know for more than 10 years. And they basically are an education-specific company, and they like to provide many different services to educational institutes. So they do more than just this. They do scanning of Microsoft as well, for Microsoft districts. They offer storage lockers, which we're not using, but they're basically an education-specific company providing services to educational.
Not knowing a lot about this, I'm a little uncomfortable about giving a company that I've never heard of access to all of our data. How secure are they? What sort of guarantees do they have? How do we know? I mean, we all remember when we'd get an email or something like that that says free service, and you click it and it's a virus. How comfortable are you with the safety of our data with this company?
I feel pretty safe with Gaggle. It's not like they are a company that's up and coming and 2 years old. I'm looking at their website right now, and they've been around since 1998, it seems. So that's why I know it's been a long time, because 1998, I just barely graduated high school. So for as long as I can remember, they've been around, so.
What are you, bragging?
Why do you want to insult us like that, Giles?
And they're doing business with a lot of different school districts around this area.
Yes, they do. I haven't asked them for the list of references because I know a lot of school districts use their services. I didn't need to check references.
How is this different from geo-listening?
The difference is geo-listening searches social media, and geo-listening looks for publicly available information. So if somebody has something on Facebook and it's not and they didn't control the privacy controls and it's publicly available and publicly searchable, that's what geo-listening looks into. Geo-listening cannot see into the Google Drives because they don't have access to the Google Drive. What Gaggle does is, I'm going to make an administrative account for them, a temporary administrative account, give them the access, and they're going to go in and do a scan. That's why they're able to access the documents. That's why it was important that I didn't want to just sign the one agreement with Gaggle. I also brought the California Student Data Privacy Agreement that I wanted them to sign as well. And that's a standardized agreement that many school districts are using.
So my kids have a Google account with MUSD. They have MUSD emails. So they have documents on Google Docs.
That's correct.
Google Drive. And they use my computer. Is there any way that Gaggle can get into my stuff?
Like your personal Gmail account, for example?
Right, or my Google Drive or my Google Docs.
Your at monroviaschools.net Google Docs, in theory they can, because I'm going to be giving them rights to, but they're not.
Am I not that Google Docs, my personal Google Docs?
They don't, because they don't have a way to access it.
Okay.
At Monrovia Schools email addresses, they do, because we own that data. We have an account with Google. We're going to be giving them access to it.
If parents and students share a computer or technology or anything like that, they don't have to worry about, the parents wouldn't have to worry about their personal information, because it's just scanning the Monrovia Unified School District Google accounts.
That is correct. They wouldn't be able to have the means to be able to scan the personal Gmail accounts.
But this is, again, I just want to make sure that teachers who are listening and so forth, because they also have the same email tag, right? So this is for students only. There's not going to be in this particular request, this is to only look at students' information, not to look at administrators or any other employees' emails or data that is being stored. Is that correct?
That is correct. Because if they wanted to charge for it. So they're only going to be looking for at the students.
I don't have a problem with this, and I understand we're looking at a exploratory type thing to see what we're up against, if anything. But I would feel far more comfortable if I had a really defined list of what we're looking for versus the random anything. And I guess I'm a little concerned about the bullying aspect and what we're going to do with that information. If people are writing things internally on their own docs, not sending it per se, but writing whatever their thoughts are, journals if you want to call it that, and it's being reviewed, and somebody writes something that is inappropriate but never released it. I mean, do we have a policy on this? Do we want to have a policy on that?
we are not looking at this for disciplinary purposes. If something is written and never sent, for example, there's no reason for us to do anything other than perhaps monitor a situation if it even comes to our attention. I will say that we will always act when and if we were to read something that poses harm to self or others. And not disciplinary, but support and additional conversations. But that would be no different than what we would see in, you know, as an English teacher if I were to read an essay.
But that's something that's being submitted. I just want to make sure that we understand what we're going to do with the information that we find and what the process is going to be. Meaning that if all of the information is going to come through Charles's office, that Charles has one person to report to, not 8 different principals to say, you have a student who is, and then we have 8 different versions of how we're going to deal with.
We will ensure consistency. And the consistency will be at grade level, because a high school student and an elementary school student have different approaches and thought processes. So we will be thoughtful in terms of our response. This is not the primary purpose of this entire expedition, and it is a tertiary purpose. It's a byproduct of an attempt to see what our vulnerabilities are systemically through our Google Suite in terms of access to information.
See, this is where I'm getting lost. I don't understand why reviewing a student's portfolio of work, their shared files, has anything to do with our vulnerability of being hacked.
So you can upload almost anything to Google Drive. It's not just Google Docs. It could be tools as well that someone can just upload to Google Drive, and then once they come on campus that they can try to download it and then maybe use it to try to do something in our system. So they're going to be looking at that as well. I'm looking at the big picture. It's safety and security. I don't know the details of their algorithm, but they're going to be looking at, if I look at the white page, they're going to be looking at the security aspect of it and content analysis. It's basically, those are the 2 things. And the content analysis is basically looking for stuff like self-harm, cyberbullying, pornography, other harmful situations. But there's a security aspect of it as well, looking at what could potentially be a security risk.
Security risk for the
system.
For the system, not security risk
for the student.
And to be honest, like I don't know what exactly is going to come out of the report as well. So you know, I might find out, like, oh wow, there's a big hole. Let's close it. We may find out, hey, we're doing pretty good. So again, this is more of an exploratory, looking for knowledge, and then based on what we find, we'll go from there.
I have some concerns about a logarithm or an algorithm going through and looking at, you know, as Brian said, you know, student journal or something like that. How can they determine a dark sense of humor or, you know, just a train of thought or a thinking or different thought processes that aren't necessarily harmful? But I don't want to bring in a child and have an administrator talk to a child and say, you know, what's going on with you, if it's something that isn't a safety concern, but it's just their dark humor or something that they're going through, or they're obscure or avant-garde.
And thankfully, we have administrators who can
Decipher.
Not just decipher, but who know their students and who understand those
What they're going
nuances.
through.
Again, when...
See, this is the part where I get concerned. When you say you know that they know their students, that implies that you're talking about the principals and their teachers. and not a district administrator, which was my original question. Who is getting this information? Who is going to be making the choices on what do we do with whatever information that we get? This is the part that gets me a little concerned, only because we've never done this before. I understand the big picture of the safety. I understand wanting to know who's downloading what, especially if there's programs that are getting stuck under a system that maybe we need to have some loopholes closed. But I get more concerned when we're talking about individual files and what we're going to do with it and who has access to those.
And Charles, can you provide us with a sample this Friday, in this Friday's update, about what kinds of student information, that would be gleaned from any kind of exploratory piece, so that we could provide the board with a better explanation about our response?
Yeah, I can call them tomorrow morning and see if they have a sample report. I would think a company like Gyro would have a sample report that they can provide us.
Because right now we're having trouble identifying these ethereal concepts, and responding to them is also equally difficult. So if you could provide that, we can provide a clearer response to that, and we'll provide a lot more information.
The part that gives me a little indigestion on this, and I'm always going to fall down on the side of somebody's privacy. And I understand that there's no right to privacy here, but there is a perceived from the individual that when you're writing something down that you never, as Celine said, intended to send it out in the universe, this is my thought, my day, and now we're going to look at it. I'm always very nervous when Big Brother does this kind of stuff. What I would like to see happening before we do this, if it gets approved, is that we communicate to our parents that we're going to do this. I understand that we had them sign a piece of paper when we started, but how many people really read the entire use agreement when you get a piece of software? How many? I'll bet you almost 100% of us just scroll it down, click the bottom, and then move on, because who's reading it? Well, that's why you have Charles. But I'll bet you, besides Charles, no one else has ever read those things. So I think if we communicated with the parents that we're embarking on this, I think it takes away some of my angst. That I don't want parents to think that we did this, at 8:30 on a Wednesday night and didn't tell anybody, even though we're doing it on TV and broadcasting it. I think if we make that next step and say, we're going to be looking at this, per the agreement that when you took our book, when you took the email address, when you did all this, I think if I put myself in that parent's shoes, I say, this is good. We're looking. We're making sure that everything's fine, rather than we're just going to do it. And it kind of, these things are creepy. This is a creepy kind of a thing to do. We're sneaking around, because that's how I would view that. We're sneaking around looking at your stuff now. So if you shine light on it, it becomes a lot less creepy. That's my thought.
I agree, and I think it'll also help us really funnel our thoughts on what we're doing and why we're doing it.
Right, because the sample report will help clarify how invasive this actually is. What we're describing here is far more invasive than what I think this is going to be. However, that doesn't mean we shouldn't be entirely transparent with the process and the communication.
Well, here's my concern. We're allowing 5,500 or so people, plus their friends, plus their parents, plus whoever they will give their access codes to, access to our Google account. We don't, right now, we don't know for sure what all they're putting on our Google account. And so we've got to have some way to screen that. I think what you're asking for, Charles, is a trial of this so we get a report so we can kind of see where we're at, and do we need a service like this? So would it be such a large jump to just say we're not going to take any disciplinary action for whatever we find on there unless it's a violation of a law or... Because I don't see that this is the start of some action of a disciplinary nature.
No,
But we've got to find a way to take care of the security of that data that's stored with our system.
I agree. I mean, I think we're all personalizing what our worst case scenario is if it happened to me or my kid, what my concerns would be. And those are the type of things, and since we have nothing else to go on at this point in time, and I'm not sure that we have 100% certainty of what we're going to be getting, which is why we need to be looking at a report. The concept, I think, is great. I think it is an important thing for us to evaluate the safety and at the same time to see how these accounts are being used. We're spending a lot of money on this. I mean, I don't want people to forget the amount of money that this district spends on technology at all levels, including Chromebooks and the software and the hardware and all of the backbone support and the cost that we have when these things get overwhelmed. I mean, there's a financial aspect to this as well. And we do need to do an evaluation of where we're at on all of these things periodically to see whether we're within the norms. But at the same time, I don't want to open up a can of worms. And I don't want people to be unduly worried about things that we had no intention of going to. You know, and Ed's suggestion of saying, look, this is no discipline action on this, or as Rob says, you know, we're going to send out a statement to all the parents saying, look, this is for your safety as well. This isn't for us to be intrusive. This is to make sure that our systems are safe. You know, but to be able to explain it clearly of what we're trying to do is the difference between getting community support and community outrage, honestly.
I think the fact that 4 of us sitting here tonight have raised different concerns about different levels of privacy on what is going to be happening here will only be magnified if you took it out in the community, because we're the ones that should understand what's happening about it the most, because we have to approve it. And I think there's a cloud of doubt as to exactly what it entails, which I think is very important for us to get our arms around first.
I'm in no rush to approve this. It would make board members more comfortable. They have offered to do a quick presentation or webinar.
I was going to ask,
Yeah.
could we have them come to the next meeting and do a presentation and perhaps bring a couple of school sites that they have worked on before and hear the recommendation, or should I say a review from what they had. So at least we would know somebody in the same field that. Would you be comfortable with that, Celine?
I'd be comfortable with that, but one of the things that I want to better understand is, as it reads on our agenda, on this item on the agenda, is that this safety audit is looking for 3 types of items: violations for which student warnings, questionable content, and possible student situations. But what you're telling us here is we're also looking for holes in our security. What has been uploaded, what can be manipulated in ways that we don't want to manipulate it. So it doesn't sound like it's just an audit for student safety. It sounds like it's also an audit for our safety, for our system safety. Right. And I think for transparency's sake, I would appreciate that being upfront, because this looks just like it's a student safety audit, which I agree with. I think we should, always be looking out for that. And I think we always should be looking out for the safety of our system. But if you're doing that for both of those reasons, I think we need to be upfront and transparent about that.
So would you be comfortable tabling this for 2 weeks?
Yes.
I am.
Wait, everybody? Okay, we'll see you back in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Let's see, pending board issues, Dr. Trosian.
Thank you, President Hammond, members of the board. We will be providing you with some additional dates for which we can schedule some more of our board walks, because we do have some items in there that need to be revised. And also, we will be providing, the first item on the cyclical reports is the LCAP meetings to be scheduled, and Dr. Kaiser will be presenting upon that and the specifics of the process in the meetings to come.
Thank you. Our next regularly scheduled meeting will be here in this chamber we'll have a joint board meeting coming up this Monday, January the 13th, here in these chambers at 6 p.m. with between the school board and the city council. On Wednesday, January 22nd, Wednesday, February 12th, and Wednesday, February 26th will be regular board meetings. There will be a MHS open house on January the 15th. There'll be a principal's welcome and future parents and students at 5 p.m. at MHS. And other important dates are Martin Luther King Jr. Day, January the 20th. All school sites will be closed, and a pupil-free day on January the 27th. This evening, we will be adjourning in memory of some really wonderful people. The first is Mr. Byron Greer, who served as the MUSD principal, assistant principal, and teacher at various school sites in the Monrovia Unified School District for 40 years. Last month, we honored Mr. Greer by lowering all the flags in the district to have staff in his memory. Countless thousands of people were touched by the lives of Byron, and it was just easily one of the nicest men I have ever met in my life. And our thoughts and prayers go out to Linda and his entire family. We'll also be closing in memory of Jamin Reed, who is the son of our substitute teacher, Sheila Reed, who...
Sheila's a regular teacher, Jamin was.
I'm sorry. He was a substitute teacher, and I'm sorry. And let me go back and do this again. I wanted to get it right. Substitute teacher and son of Bright Oaks teacher Sheila Reed, who passed away over the winter break. Services for Jamin are scheduled for January the 13th at 11 a.m. and public viewing on January the 12th between 1 and 3 p.m. Both will be held at Oakdale Memorial Chapel in Glendora. And finally, Elena Travanti, mother-in-law of board member Maritza Travanti, and her husband Neil, passed away on December the 20th. Keeping all those families in your thoughts and prayers as we move on in our daily lives, and if there's no further business, we will stand adjourned.